Okay, to finalize, we're going to look back here in our Encore project and realize that we have 4 different timelines. Now, if I had a sequence that I was running in a movie, I'd have these marked as 1, 2, 3, and 4 chapters that I could put in the right order. At this point, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go ahead down the line and put them in that order. But to make a button link, you have to go in and actually select the button. Now, if you notice as I hit this, nothing's happening. I have to tell Encore that this is a button. So I come down into Layers, and I see the word Play All. If I select here, that creates the icon that makes a button. And now the properties of that know that it's a link. Now it says, what's the name of that? Play All is correct. Number 1, that means that's the first button in the sequence, being top to bottom or left to right. We're going to go ahead and put the word link where it says not set. We're going to click and drag that right to the first timeline. Now what happens is when we actually go, once a link takes effect, you'll see that the movie shows up here to the left. And that means when this video trailer plays, or when this background plays, that if we hit the word play all, it will go to that video clip. Now, what tells that video clip to move on to the next one when it's done? Well, I click that timeline clip and I look at its properties, and here it says end action. That means what does it do when it's done? Similar to giving a property to a web page link, I can come back here to the end action and say, okay, once that video is done, I want you to go to project 3 file here. Now it's just a matter of going into that project, setting its end action, and that project setting its end action. And now what we've done is we've created a sequence. All 4 of these videos will play in the correct order that we just arranged. But when it gets to the last video, what does it do? Well, that's your call. You could go and have it loop back to the beginning, or as most DVDs do, the end action of the last sequence goes back to the menu. The menu will pop up. The person has the option to hit play again. Now we've set the sequence of those videos. Let's hit the word select. Well, again, chapter select is not a button. I come down, I designate that as a button with the button icon. It now knows it's an icon under the button. I want to take this to a new menu. Now this is where it can get tricky, because now we have to build a second menu. And all that I'm going to do for this menu, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a new Photoshop file similar to this, and I'm just going to put the word scary movie trailers in there, and that's all I'm really going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, put that together, and then I'm going to import it and show you how I use that. Now all that I've done here was create, again, a 720 by 480 layer, a black background. Now I don't want a video in my background. I'm going to show you why in a little bit. But typically a sub-menu really doesn't have video playing in the background. But I'm keeping it real simple. I'm still got a scary movie trailers. You could also go in for this. Maybe I could go in with my text tool and put in the word chapter select, so they knew where they were at. Okay. And then I have at the bottom something that says return to main menu, and that's important to always give the user an opportunity to get back to the main menu. You don't leave them stuck somewhere. So I'm going to save that as Photoshop submenu and hit save. Yes, I want to replace it because I've already created it once. When I jump back into Encore, now I can file import as a menu and go get the Photoshop submenu. Now I do have 2 menus here, no problem. Chapter select button, when selected, is going to link to the submenu. So let's double click on the submenu, look at it. Now, we need buttons. And another way to do buttons, a very impressive way to do it, is to physically drop your movies in here so that they can see little previews. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to come over here, grab my first timeline, drag it right into my menu, and notice it creates a little box. I do that with my second menu over here. Then I can come down to the third project, drop that in here. And then I can come to my fourth project and drop that in there. Now you can rearrange this any way you want. That's your preference. There are many different ways to do this. One of the things you are going to notice is when you select on that box, the name will default to 1. We could just call this video 1. When you click off, it'll update. All right. You can also select that and go into character and change the character for that. So if we want to go in and use chiller, which is what I used, there you go. Now it also looks like it needs to be raised up in size a little bit. And that might be a little too big. But there you go. Video 1, and we could call this one video 2. Again, I'm going to change the properties to chiller. And I'm going to go ahead and name under properties, call it video 2. Now, of course, you could also go in and physically call these by the name of the chapter. I'm trying to keep it simple for you, just so we all have the same results. But you can go and be very creative to what you're doing here. You can also center. It's supposed to align to the right, to the left, to the center. Doesn't seem to work on for me here right now. But under properties, change this to project 3. Go into its chapter, change the text down to chiller again, and I think I was using a 24 font. Last but not least, go ahead and grab that font a while, go to 30, change it to chiller, back to properties, and name it project 4. Okay, so now these little preview windows actually act as buttons. Now I'm going to save my project, and I have to go in and take my main menu. Now notice when I go into layers, return to main menu is not a button. I simply have to just click that and say, where do I want it to link to? I want to go back to main menu. All other links will be automatically put in place. Okay, so now once we go in, and again, I like to save like crazy, I have to go in and render this thing to File, Render Motion Menus, because these will not preview. Before we do that, though, we have to make these actual motion menus. And we do that by selecting on that, and we look at some of its various properties. All right, and one of the things that you're going to see here is that you have to select on the menu to actually get where it says animate buttons. You have to tell it that you want these things to animate. And the duration is 15 seconds, so it's going to play that video for 15 seconds and then keep repeating. Now we can also put video in here. I don't recommend it, but audio would work. So let's go out and grab that same audio track that we had, the little scary music that we used before. And that'll play during our sub-menu. Now we can go out, File, Render, Motion Menus, and while this builds, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll resume when it's done building. Okay, now that everything has rendered out, I can go back in to my, once again, my preview. And what's going to happen is, this is my trailer, it comes up. Notice as I move my mouse over it, now it is restarting, and that's only going to be in the preview. But if I hit play all, go to chapter select, it's going to come to this submenu where it actually lets me go over the different projects. Okay. Now I can click on that project, and that's going to take me out to that project. Okay. Now if I don't change anything, I can go back out and preview several different times to make sure it's working. Hit play all, and it goes right to my first movie. Okay. So that is definitely the testing phase where you come in, you have to preview it a couple times. I would go into my chapter select and use that return to main menu. Make sure it goes back to your main trailer. Okay, so that should finish up your DVD except for one last step, and that is for us to go and export this out. So make sure you save before you go any farther. And if you go to File, you can do a build and a check project, or you could look over here at your flowchart and make sure that everything looks like it's navigating in the right direction. And it appears that it does. So I can go in here to File, check Project, and check Project is going to go through and it's going to check all of these things. Now when I hit Start, it comes back with no errors. If there is an error, it will tell you what the error is and how, where it is, so that you know where to fix it. Once you've checked your project, you can go into File, Build, Disk. That'll open up the Build panel, and here we can make any last minute changes, DVD and all that good stuff. It's only using up 1.29 gig of the disk. I can name the title, the project. And I can also number the amount of copies I want. If you definitely want more than one copy, now's the time to do it. If not, if you say you record now and then later on you want another one, you're going to have to wait through the whole process of transcoding, which is going to take anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours. So if you need more than one video and you've got the discs ready, go for it. Other than that, you're going to see that everything else is pretty much set by default. You would change your number and hit the word build. Once you hit build, Encore will go out to your DVD drive. You make sure you do have a DVD in that drive, and it will set everything for you. All right. If you have any problems, email me, and I'd be happy to help you out. But this was an introduction to Encore. It should give you enough information to go out, create a professional DVD, put your work on, and have some fun with some video footage.